Hello students. Today we will start with next physics lesson number 8, motion. Before we start with the explanation, let us study some instructions for you on how to use the PPTs and PDFs, how to make the notes, how to use the PPTs for your advantage. Please go through the slide thoroughly so you understand how to use all these means to the best. Observe the photographs shown on the slide. What criteria will you use to classify the objects shown in the photos? Some objects are fixed at place, whereas other objects they are not having fixed place all the time. So I can say that stones, trees, electric transmission poles, buildings are at fixed place, whereas snail, aeroplane, birds, ball on the tree, etc. may change their place. So in physics we can say that we are classifying them on the basis of their position with respect to time and the surrounding. Hence, we can use the terms objects at rest and objects in motion to classify them. In reference of previous slide, we can say that the objects which do not change their positions are said to be at rest, while those which change their positions are said to be in motion. So I can define the body at rest as a body is said to be at rest if it does not change its position with respect to the surrounding. For example, a book lying on a table, if not disturbed by anybody, does not change its position with respect to the table. The walls of the room will not change their position. So both of them they are at rest. Now how will you define a body in motion? A body is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to its surrounding. For example, cars and buses running on the road, birds and aeroplanes flying in the air, the running blades of electric fan, windmill, all are the examples of objects in motion. Now please remember that the given object or body will be at rest or in motion relative to its surrounding. So how will you, for explaining this sentence, just imagine that you are sitting in a moving train. The passengers who are sitting in front of you, you will feel that they are at rest. But the objects or the things which you are observing outside the train, such as platforms, then trees, you feel that they are in motion. Actually, they are at rest. So this is the framework where we are considering the objects which are at rest, they are appearing us to be in motion. Now, just take second case. If you are standing on the platform and you are looking at the passengers who are sitting in a moving train, what you will feel? That the passengers are in motion. Now here the reference frame is changing and hence the passengers who are sitting in front of you in the train, in the moving train, they appear at rest for you when you are sitting in a moving train, whereas when you are standing on the platform, the same passengers, you will feel them in motion. So when the reference frame changes, the objects at rest appear to be in motion, whereas objects in motion appear to be at rest. And hence we can say that objects at rest and objects in motion You should consider the framework while defining them, or motion and rest are relative concepts. Motion is a characteristic of living things. The movement in plants and animals seems to be spontaneous, that is, they move on their own. The motion in plants is not clearly observed as in animals. Different parts of plant move in different directions. For example, roots grow in search of water, or stem bends towards the sunlight. Whereas non-living things cannot move on their own. We have to apply force on them so that they can move from one place to another. There are certain motions which cannot be perceived. For example, motion of air. But we can feel them or we can see them through indirect evidences. So by observing the movement of dust particles, by observing the movement of leaves and branches of trees, we can perceive the motion of air. Similarly, we can perceive the motion of earth around the sun, or motion of earth around its axis due to occurrence of seasons and due to occurrence of days and nights. Now we will be studying different types of motions. On the slide, different types of motions are seen. Oscillatory motion, random motion, rotational motion, translational motion and circular motion. So what is meant by random motion? In random motion, particles of the body do not move in fixed direction. They are moving randomly. They are not following specific path. So such type of motion is called as random motion. For example, motion of kite flying in the air, motion of fish swimming in water. These are the examples of random motion. Now what is oscillatory motion? The motion of the particles, they move to and fro or back and forth on their mean position. Such type of motion is called as oscillatory motion. For example, motion of swing, motion of needle of sewing machine. These are the examples of oscillatory motion. Now rotational motion. So here all the particles of the body, they move around a fixed axis following a circular path. So in this case, all the particles of the body, they are moving around a fixed axis. For example, blades of electric fan, they are moving around a fixed axis. Blades of fidget spinner, Beyblade, they are moving around a fixed axis. Now next is circular motion. So all the particles of the body, they are moving in circular path. It is a type of rotational motion only. So all the particles of the body, they are moving by following circular path. For example, athlete running on a circular track. It is an example of circular motion. In this chapter, we will be studying uniform circular motion in detail. Now one more type is remaining, that is translational motion. So here in this case, all the particles of the body, they are moving parallel to each other, covering equal distances in equal intervals of time. But there are two types of translational motions, rectilinear and curvilinear. So whenever all the particles of the body which are moving parallel to each other, covering equal distances in equal interval of time and following a straight line path, such type of translational motion is called as rectilinear translational motion. For example, sun rays passing through the window slit. It is an example of rectilinear translational motion. Or a parade of soldiers. It is an example of rectilinear translational motion. Or whenever we are moving on express highway, it is a type of rectilinear translational motion. We are following straight line path. Now when the path followed by the body is curved path, such type of translational motion is called as curvilinear translational motion. Motion in ghats. Whenever we are traveling in ghats, we are following curved paths. Such type of motion is called as curvilinear motion. Motion of paper plane is a curvy linear type of motion. Depending upon the distance covered in given interval of time, there are two types of motions, uniform motion and non-uniform motion. So what is meant by uniform motion? When body covers equal distances in equal interval of time, the body will have uniform motion. The motion of hands of the clock is an example of uniform motion. It covers equal distances in equal interval of time. Movement of bob of the pendulum. It is also an example of uniform motion. Whatever distance the bob of the pendulum is covering from mean position towards left, same distance it is going to cover towards right from the mean position. So it is an example of uniform motion. If a car covers 2 meters distance in 2 seconds, in first 2 seconds, and next 2 seconds also if it is covering 2 meters distance, then the car will have uniform motion. Whereas if the distance covered is unequal in equal intervals of time, then the body will have non-uniform motion. While doing the skates, you will not be able to maintain the speed if the surface is rough. If anybody comes in between, then that time the motion will be non-uniform motion. Also, a movement of an asteroid, a bouncing of a ball, these are the examples of non-uniform motion. Now uniform motion, the other term for uniform motion is uniform speed, and the other term that you will be using for non-uniform motion is non-uniform speed. But in detail, first we will be studying what is meant by speed, and then we will move ahead to uniform speed and non-uniform speed. Before studying the concept of speed, we must understand what is meant by distance. So, the actual length of the path travelled or covered by a moving body irrespective of the direction is called the distance travelled by the body. The distance travelled by the body is denoted by letter S. Now see the figure 1. We will cross-check the definition of the distance. Now from point A, a person is moving towards B, then it is moving towards C, then it is moving towards D, and again coming back to A. So a rectangular path the person is following. As a rectangle has 4 vertices, 4 corners, 4 times the direction will be changed by the person following the rectangular path. So though he is changing the direction 4 times, while calculating the distance, we are not going to consider direction, only the magnitude we will be considering. So 3 meters plus 5 meters plus 3 meters plus 5 meters, the total distance covered by him will be 16 meter. And hence we can say that the actual length of the path followed by the body irrespective of the direction is called as distance. In figure 2, the ant is moving from A to B. It is not following specific path. Randomly it is moving. So without considering the direction, you will be calculating the distance covered by it. In figure 3, circular track is shown. So whenever the athlete will start from starting point, he is going to complete one lap of 400 meter coming back to the same point. So starting point and ending point both are same. So though he is running on the circular track, at every